I know where we can go. I know where we can go. And it's all you and me. We'll kiss the sky goodnight. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. I know where we can go, where the sunrise lasts forever, and it's all you and me. We'll kiss the sky goodnight. Come get lost with me. 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 Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Good to see you all. Today is, sorry, today is August 9th, 2024, 10:56 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Good to see you all in chat, my cool cats and kittens and teacups. How are you doing? I wasn't going to come live again. I told you guys I would. And like I ate, and then I'm like, I'm really getting my schedule back. Um, and today is Friday, and school starts next week. So this will probably be my last late night live for approximately 9 months. So I was like, okay, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. Um, so there's that. Unless it'll be like on, you know, Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, spring break, all of that. I start back next Friday. Yay. Fun, fun, fun. So I'm trying to get in the habit again of sleeping like a normal. Well, I don't know. I don't like the word normal. Like I'm supposed to sleep. How about that? Back to getting up early again. And let me tell you something, that has always been a thing for me. I don't like getting up early. I just don't. 1 second. Sorry about that. Yeah, mornings starts early down south, I guess. Yeah, well, we get out. Well, I don't even know when they got out. In May, like the very end of May, I think it is. So I'm not a morning person either. Yeah, yeah. The problem with me is like when I first, and it takes like probably a good month, a month and a half. Whenever I start getting back to my schedule, like I'll wake up, I'll be fine, but about after 2 hours, I am sleepy. Like my head is sleepy. Even if I've gotten 9 hours of sleep or 8 hours of sleep or 7 hours of sleep, like my head is, I feel sleepy after a couple hours after waking up. And then I feel that way until about like 5 o'clock in the evening. And then I'm like, wide awake again. But then my body's like, you got to go to bed because you got to be up early. So it is what it is. I experience that with the daylight savings. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I wake up fine. I'm like, I'm ready to, you know, do it all today. And then after, getting everybody ready and all that, I'm like, I'm done. You get like that too. I don't, well, I guess I don't know, but like after a couple hours, I'm just like, okay, I'm done. I don't have it in me. I think it is probably, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't, but it's annoying. It annoys me really bad. Okay. Anyway, melatonin is great. Mm, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem going to sleep or anything like that. I don't have, but it's just like the next day. It doesn't matter like how much sleep you get. I'm just like ready to go. Good to see you guys. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Okay, so peace and rest is the best. Well, that must be the problem. Just kidding. Okay. So we're going to be doing a study session. And I hate eating, makes me want to sleep. Yes, Carol, I don't eat of the morning because if I eat of the morning, it's going out the window. Done. It's not going to work. Uh, there's no way I could eat of the morning like that. Rest at night. Yeah. Okay. So a few things. We're going to be doing a study session, and oh well, that's not the one I wanted to bring up first. Few things that I wanted to speak about. I don't know how long this live's going to be. We'll see. Um, kind of how it turns out and all that. But there was something that I did want to show you guys. Different things. I see you posted this in our group a while back, and it just shows you the different things that they tell you. They'll tell you this thing this time and something else the other time. So get your thinking caps on. Let's go.
Sorry, but I just
Well, let me start. Okay.
Ridiculous.
Have you ever had CPS called on you before?
yes.
Okay. Okay. And you don't have to go into it elaborate or anything like that. I just, that was the question that I had. And that happens, sometimes, especially when you have a child who is, has special needs and stuff. That's
I've had
hard.
it. Well, I'll be honest with you. I've had CPS called on me in 2 states,
Mhm.
New Mexico and Tennessee.
And and that
Like a lunch bucket.
include with Sebastian.
Tennessee was Sebastian, yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
in fact, Sebastian here, like I said, I got nothing to hide. So Sebastian went to school one day because we were at the house. He got in trouble. He didn't have a belt on. I was like, "Where's your belt?" And got it. Whack. Kind of got him. So he goes to school and he tells the teacher. They're mandatory reporters. So the teacher reports it.
Mhm.
That afternoon, CPS shows up to the house while we're actually sitting down to eat dinner. Now, mind you, 15-year-old child, he's not real happy because he's in trouble, so he's being punished. So he shows, he makes a report. They come to the house,
I'm going to show you
and the
another clip
lady who
after
comes to
this.
the
First,
house is the same lady we've had. She's had a case before. Now, the case that was before was something that didn't even happen, and it's like 3 stories that were shoved into one. And when they finally got it
oh, I'd
debunked,
like
they
to
were
have
like,
3 stories
"Oh,
shoved into.
he got so mixed up in telling one story, it mixed into 3, and it caused a commotion." Well, they canceled that out. So the one on me, she shows up, and I said, "Hey, how you doing? It's her again." She's like, "Oh, hey." She goes, "Hey, I already don't."
I bet you Chris was like, "Hey, how you doing, girl? How you doing?" I bet you he was like that.
She's like, "Don't tell me anything, but I'm gonna tell you what I know happened." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "Blah blah blah." She told me exactly what happened. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Oh my God." I said, "Yes, ma'am. This
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 is
is
how it's
how
been.
it's been." Sebastian thought by telling on me, making it sound like I was so horrible.
Okay. All right. There's that
Oh,
one.
you cut out. You cut out.
Because you are horrible.
I've got a question for you. I want to find out about Mr. Proudfoot hitting Sebastian with a belt. What happened?
That was actually several years ago, and it
To
was
Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what happened?
That's absolutely true. Can we talk about why people think it's okay that CPS is involved? Let's chat. Do teachers report or act on everything a child says? I say not. Let's talk about multiple reports. Explain. Yeah, I mean, everyone is, hey Ben, I haven't seen you in ages. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Um, you know, like, technically everyone is a more or less a or they should be a mandatory reporter if they think something is wrong. Uh, I think they need to see or hear something, uh, that is wrong, that they that puts the child in uh harm's way of bodily injury, or death, obviously. But teachers hear a lot, right? Teachers hear a lot. And yes, they are mandatory reporters, but do they actually report on everything that they see and hear? I would say no, because they would probably spending a lot of time on the phone. I think they do it if there is a concern that something keeps happening, or the child is showing bruising, lots of bruising, uh different things, right? Or it's any types of abuse. A teacher may not investigate the claim but must report it to CPS, who do the investigation. Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I also don't think that I think there has to be what they would feel, some validity to it, right? Didn't Christina say CP was discharged from Navy? I don't know. I've heard a lot of people saying that. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Listen to this. So we just heard Chris and Katie's interview from Smiley's. Now this is the one with Nancy Grace. They was talking about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking Katie. Sebastian had gotten in trouble. He got caught lying. I had asked him, I said, hey, you got to have a punishment for this. He says, yes, sir. And I said, okay. So I gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes, one swat.
What did he lie about?
I honestly don't remember at the time, but it was probably something dealing with school, because that's majority where his issues lie.
Thank you, Theresa.
Did he have other issues at school?
I haven't, no.
Some behavioral stuff, but nothing too crazy.
What kind of behavioral stuff?
He has a hard time. He's like awkwardly socially, like blending in with students. So it's a little. He's trying to figure out how to do it.
What did he?
He has a hard time.
Hold on.
Some behavioral stuff, but nothing too crazy.
What kind of behavioral stuff?
When you're saying behavioral, there's the classic way of us speaking about behavioral, meaning the way parents normally use it is the child behaving. But then there is, behavioral as in socially, and I think that's what was Chris speaking to the fact that he's having behavioral issues as far as listening, or behavioral issues as in his social behavior. And he's talking about social here, but it just is interesting how he said that. I don't know. We'll get more to that in 1 second. Mini Panther, thank you so much, my dear, for gifting a teacup. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Thank you so much. If you received that teacup, please thank our sweet Mini Panthers. Very sweet of you, my friend.
He has a hard time. He's like awkwardly socially like blending in with students, so it's a little. He's trying to figure out how to do it, but respecting people's space. He gets a little too close, and then kids don't really accept that too much, so it kind of causes an issue. But he'll not stop, and he continues on. So then it causes an issue, and instead of being honest about it, he'll lie like, "No, I didn't." Okay, Sebastian.
We're lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time? Was that the first time you had ever hit him with a belt?
Yes, ma'am. The one and only time, actually.
Okay, that's a very important thing. But Vet Girl, I think there is an open case from what Chris said on Smiley's.
With a belt?
Oops.
Yes, ma'am. The one and only time, actually.
Don't believe it. I don't believe it. Sorry.
When was this?
Years ago, ma'am.
Any idea how many? 3, 10, 1?
I would like to ask Seth that. I mean, I don't know if it would be against the rules. I wouldn't think so. If he would just, if he, because I mean, I'll ask my girlfriend this, who's my neighbor, who works for CPS as well. Could he just give us even the years? And I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what year it was, but I do believe Chris is, in my opinion, lying through his crustacean right now, is what I think he's lying through. So years ago, ma'am, years ago, Chris, no, you, in my opinion, just lied. And let me tell you something. If you whoop a child one time, you're going to know what that whipping is for, because it's out of, it's not a normal, ordinary thing. I promise you will remember, and that child will remember what they got whooped over for. Right? I've had friends, or I've spoke to people in the past, and they said, I got whooped like 1 or 2 times as a kid, and if I got whooped, I can, I did this and this and this, and they got whipped. Trust me, they remember, and so do the parents. But look here, Chris is going to say, oh, that was years ago, I don't remember. Because you know why, in my opinion, he's not saying this on Nancy Grace's, is because A, it's Nancy Grace. 2, he's on national television. And number 3, it's more importantly, it's ridiculous, and in my opinion, abuse, to spank a 15-year-old child with any mental or physical and or emotional. I think it's absolutely wrong. I mean, first of all, most people, if they do choose to spank their child, they are not 15, number 1, and number 2, they are not usually mentally, physically, or emotionally, have issues in those realms. I know. I don't believe it was once. I don't believe he swatted him one time. I don't believe he doesn't remember it because I just showed you that he said it on Smileys. I just played the video. Hey, SL, darling. Did you get my text earlier? Thank you, my dear. You doing okay? How you feeling, my love? Oops. Justin, not to change the subject, there's a 13-year-old girl, Jalen Earls. She was being chased by her stepfather, and she is on camera running through a stranger's house in Cincinnati. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna look at that. She is missing now. Okay. I did 2 Promise Roads. It spanked me and it was very painful. Both of my parents still don't think it was wrong of them to. Yeah, Promise. My dad spanked me as a kid, and it does no good. It doesn't. It does nothing. Really. I mean, I in my opinion, it like. I mean, to hit someone to make them listen to you, there has to be a better way which there is a better way in my opinion. So I understand what you mean. Oh, thank you, Benjamin. Thank you so much, Ben. Good to see you, Benjamin, my little Benjamin Button Bartholomew. That's what I call him, Benjamin Button Bartholomew, because I love you. Thank you so much, Ben. If you received one of those 5 teacups, please give our Benjamin a big, big thank you. He's such a sweet man. Thank you so much. Hello, butterfly kisses. Hello. Well, we're glad you can't. We miss you. We miss you to pieces. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, let me finish this right here.
It's probably at least 3 years ago.
I don't understand how that turned into a CPS or Child Protective Services complaint. How were they alerted that you hit him with a belt?
That did not turn into a CPS service call.
Do you believe him? I don't believe him.
There were other CPS reports, right? Were they regarding your other child?
There is one in regards to my daughter that I know of out in New Mexico.
Sorry, but I just
Well,
him and that laugh, man. He has a listening device in his left ear. Chris does there, you think? Well, I don't know if he has a listening device there, but I know he has a mommy right in front of him. I do know that. Won't go anywhere without the mommies, right? I don't know. He's supposedly the absolute favorite child. Oh, sorry. Bear with me. I'm trying to pull up some stuff here, y'all. There is. Oh, let me show you this. All right.
And did that. We went to BJ's. We went and picked up our niece.
Yes,
yeah, I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. We went to BJ's. We went and picked up our niece. Yeah, I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did.
Melissa says here, someone put Melissa's message above here. I was with him Sunday afternoon shopping. I took my sister and her daughter plus my sister-in-law and Sebastian shopping that afternoon. So I can tell you he was in a good mood. They were headed home to put away groceries when I saw him Sunday. She says that she took them.
And
What does
so
Katie say?
we went and did that. We went to BJ's. We went and picked up our niece. Yeah, I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. We went to BJ's. We went and.
So, what's the deal, Lucille? You know what I mean? Like, what's the deal? What's going on here? Why is there something? Thank you so much, Carmelita, my dear. Appreciate you, my love. Thank you so much. Welcome, being part of a teacup, my love. I don't think Melissa is Christopher's sister. Christopher's sister. I don't know why she turns to Chris as. Well, yeah. Why does she turn to Chris? Why does she turn to Chris? Is Katie and Melissa close? Okay, Pam, I'll look at that. Thank you. Are they close? Is this something that they are usually seen, together? Is this a normal thing for them to go out and about with each other? Because I know in other cases, people asked Melissa if she drove, and people asked Katie if she drove, and they both said they drove. Now, when it comes to this, and my sister-in-law and Sebastian shopping that afternoon. So I can tell you he was in a good mood. They were headed home to put away groceries when I saw him Sunday. Did they drive separate cars? That could be, perhaps, but I don't know. Justin, I think you might be. I don't know. I'm telling you, I wish I could have some, records would be nice. More records of where people were. Then I betcha. I think she took Sebastian out to bribe him, but Sebastian later says he's going to tell, prompting his disappearance. Well, very possible. Very, very possible. I don't know. But what I can tell you is also another thing. Why do they not speak on the neighbor's house? Even though it may have been 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Why do they not mention the neighbor's house? The neighbor, this neighbor in that vicinity somewhere around there. I don't know which house it is. but they supposedly go to some neighbor's house. Oh, well, Melissa says we have been there since 6:30 in the morning. We have been searching for him since 6:30 in the morning, is what she said. Number one. Number two, the Bow Wow Foots, she says she wasn't there till 10:30. Now I can tell you 1,000%, Seth was there way before 10:30. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. Right. Why is Bow Wow Foot saying she wasn't there till 10:30? That's not really Kathy's brother and Dan. Yeah, they're not biological. Yeah. But they consider each other, you know. That's a problem. Didn't Seth say he get there at 8:30? Yes. Yes. But Kathy Bow Wow says she wasn't there till 10:30. Now there is people that allegedly says that they saw them there, or the Bow Wow Foot, Mama Bow Wow Foot there at the Worshams early in the morning. Hindsight 2002, what is false? Who is false? Are you saying that about the question? Are you saying that about something I'm saying? Nina Drew, I thought, yeah, I specifically remember him saying that he was there when he got there. Yes. Oh, yeah. I believe I mean she would have had to been there before 10:30. She would have had to been there before 10:30 in my opinion. But I'm just saying the things that she is stating here. Didn't Seth say his mom was there when he showed up at the house? Yes. In my opinion, she was at Worsham's to visit the storage unit and Katie before. It's very interesting. Yep. The cops said that there was a bunch of people there when they got there. All right. Credit goes to Bed Crime Stories. Make sure y'all are subbed up to her. She is honestly one of the just good creators out there. Beautiful inside and out. So make sure you guys are subbed up to her as well. Justin, I feel like I heard somewhere that KP picked up the niece, then met them at BJ's. Do you remember that? Or maybe I am wrong, Justin. I can't remember. There's been so much stuff said, to be quite honest with you. Kathy, Terry, and Melissa plus one was there with Katie when they arrived. Yes, I do remember.
And she's deeply upset. Chris Proudfoot, on the other hand, is cool as a cucumber. He's very detached, and the wording he uses to refer to Katie and to Sebastian is very interesting. I also noticed that Katie wanted to say things about Sebastian, positive things about him at various points, but either Chris or the interviewer, Duchess, talks over Katie. So we can't hear what she's saying. And it's pretty maddening because obviously Katie Proudfoot, as supposedly the last person who was with Sebastian, her experiences and what she has to say are critically important. Let's begin.
So
And she
I
doesn't
guess
speak.
I will just kind of start out with tell me what happened the day that Sebastian went missing. I know that his mom said that he was having a good day. He had had a great weekend. So do you want to walk us through what that looks like again for everybody?
He did have a really good weekend, actually. When we come home from having supper that evening, he was playing. When he went to bed, when I told him to go to bed, he said, "I love you, Mama," and he said, "I love you, puppies." A little later,
When she told him to go to bed, she told him to go to bed. I want to know how that happened. Did she go in the room? Did she yell it through the house? Did she say it when Sebastian walked out of his room? I think that's very important. I think it's very important that that would be answered, because it can really
later in the evening, I
change some
myself went to
things.
bed, and when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
Did you hear Katie say about Sebastian, quote, "He was playing when he went to bed, when I told him to go to bed." So she catches
Listen to
herself
that.
there. She says, "when he went to bed," and then she quickly changes it to, "when I told him to go to bed." She also
Yes, very good point that she has there. Told him, when I told him to go to bed versus when he went to bed.
says a little
Remember, with particularly Chris, Katie's not as good, in my opinion, good with as good with semantics as Chris is. Chris is a the douche master of semantics, the douche master in chief, if you ask me.
later, I myself went to bed. So I do feel like she caught herself and that perhaps she had deviated from a narrative, maybe, that she and Chris had put together. And one of the details was that she told him to go to bed. What I also found interesting is that she does not say the times that these things occurred. Now, after I listened to the full interview, I realized that she had shared times with this Duchess person before they sat down for this recorded chat. But it takes Duchess later to bring those specific details into the conversation.
Yes. In Duchess's interview, Duchess will say, "You told me that that was around 10 o'clock, but Katie nor Chris will not insert times during the interview unless, like, Duchess will say that was around midnight, and she'll go midnight, like as soon as when it happens, and that was around midnight. She's like, oh my god, Katie. I mean, honest to God, how could anyone live with those two? I'm just
And when I
poor
went to wake him
Sebastian.
up for school, he wasn't here.
Now watch.
And you did tell me that
See, Beth, this is
Sebastian
gonna
is
say.
not a runner. He's not. It's okay. Take your time.
Sebastian does not have a history of running. I mean, the young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him. He is very to himself, so to speak. Between the hours of 12 and 6, he is basically vanished.
When someone says basically, you might as well hang it up. When they're telling you something very serious that actually means something, and they say basically, pretty much, and they're not direct. What do you mean basic? You don't basically vanish. Or you don't vanish, period. Something happens to you. Yeah, literally. I mean, literally, it can go either way with literally, but yeah, literally is usually one as well. It depends. But basically vanished. And Ben George says he went to his room to play when he got home at 6:45. May have taken out the garbage. No other details. That is exactly right. We hear about Katie. What do we hear, Katie? Well, we woke up that morning, had a fun breakfast. Little, Katie Crocker here. She made spaghetti pancakes, and oh my God, children, he wanted to brag. So we did. We called the family up. We said, "Hey, Nene, what's up? We want to brag about these cakes or these little things that we just made." So we did that. And then, my sister-in-law called me and she was like, "I want to take you out. Let's go out." So we went out a little bit. It's very detailed, right? Very detailed. Okay. Then we got this colossal popcorn. Oh my God. Kid got it all over the fucking car. Just tons of detail. Tons of detail. Non-stop detail. Right? Non-stop detail. Then what do we hear? We got home. Sebastian went to his room, told him to go to his room. I was laying on the couch talking to my man, and he came out, said goodnight, puppies, goodnight. Went to bed a little later. Heard a thud, didn't think nothing of it. Didn't think nothing of it. So I woke him up, went to wake him up in there next morning and he wasn't here. That's fucking it. That's it. That's it. That's all Katie Crocker's got. That's all she's got. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Okay. That's all she's got. Seth didn't learn about the noises or thud until we did. Yeah. So that's it. Why can't she give us a little more detail? You know what I mean? Did Sebastian come out of his room? You're saying all the time that he's sneaking out in the middle of the night. Right? Hey, Blue Eyes. And getting junk food. Well, he didn't that night. Okay, he didn't get a drink. You didn't get a drink. I mean, I mean, I'm sure from, 7 to 9 or 10 o'clock. I mean, I don't know about you, but I take a drink with me to bed, right? I put water right beside my nightstand, right? He didn't come get a drink. Oh, no, he didn't get a bath. No, no bath. So, Katie kitten, listen here, honey. Did you give Sebastian medicine? Listen, this is ridiculous. Listen, my husband here, he is no, it is against HIPAA. It's against HIPAA. Okay. It's not going to happen. We're not going to do it. HIPAA related. Not going to work. Oh my God, Truslu. Thank you, honey. Thank you so very much, my sweeties. Sweetie peetsies. Thank you, my dear. If Sebastian was on the phone with family bragging about pancakes, why would her sister-in-law need to call to ask to pick up her niece? So why was KP actually talking with, in my opinion? Let me go back to that thing that we were looking at here. What did it say? Shut. 1 second. I was with him Sunday. I took my sister and daughter. Afternoon, I can tell you. I mean, like, the thing that I don't understand, everyone, is that, you got Katie, and she's, she's trying to sound like Martha Stewart, Katie Crocker of the morning, right? I mean, she really is. We made this fun fact. We made breakfast that morning. Spaghetti pancakes. Look it up, cool cats. Look it up. Look it up. Okay. Look it up. And then we wanted to brag. So after we bragged, who the fuck brags about making spaghetti pancakes or whatever the hell they are? I mean, really. Who brags about it? I mean, do you make spaghetti pancakes once a week or whatever the hell they are? Look them up, y'all. Look them up. Look them up, y'all. Look them up. Right? Breakfast is normal. Yes, breakfast is normal. But they're basically funnel cakes, is all they are. Right? Why would her sister-in-law need to call to ask KP to pick up her niece? To pick up her niece. Her sister-in-law. I mean, I wonder if she was somewhere else or something like that. I mean, it might be. I mean, how many people do you call that morning? You know what I mean? Like, how many people do you call? I don't understand. Someone who never really cooks in their chat often. That's who brags. Probably. Yeah. Yeah. So that kind of, I don't know. That makes me, in my opinion, think like something was going on this day. Something was going on this day. I feel like. When's the last time they bragged about spaghetti pancakes? Right? And when I think about that, I understand why people thinks in our theories that we're not blaming anyone of anything. We are merely talking about opinions, hypotheses, and theories, and that's it. But I understand when people's like, oh, there's some premeditation here. Because I just feel like she she put her little maid thing on and she wanted to be, you know, Betty Crocker that morning. So much fun this weekend. But I don't know if, for me, I mean, I think it's more likely for someone to just pop off, to be really honest with you. But I do see how people think premeditation, and sometimes. But I also feel like maybe she just wanted to wear him out, or, so he would be tired, or she wanted to make him happy that weekend. So maybe would be able to kind of come back in the house during the weekend, you know, whatever. Oh, honey, come, I it's fine. We had a great weekend. Um, we haven't seen, Mr. Chris in a while. So, everything's good, right? Right? Everything's good. Right? Mr. Chris, right? I mean, calling someone Mr. Chris, she felt bad for what was going to happen later. You think so? I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. If there is premeditation, you know, if something does come out that there's premeditation in this, I'll be honest with you. I will be extraordinarily upset. Just really even extra upset, because premeditation is an extra, extra, extra evil knowing, right? So I don't know. Lady for Justice, thank you so very much, my dear. Welcome to the teacup. Appreciate you, darling. Welcome to the tea party. Cheers, my love. Thank you so very much. Serenity, my dear, thank you so very much, my love. CP said Sebastian ate his whole meal at Roadhouse. How would he know if he was not there? And first of all, how would he know? And second, how would we need to know that unless he got in trouble during dinner? I hear you, Serenity, and I it's odd, and it's been odd since the beginning. This case has been odd since the beginning, because even from the beginning, Chris has been the one that said most of it, right? Most of it. Hi, Tinks. How would he know? How would he know? Now, this is the thing. Now, the Bowerfoot supporters, right? They Hold on one second. But the Bowerfoot supporters, right? They would say that, Chris is, an alpha man. He's a manly man, right? Right. And that, like it or not, this mother chicken is going to talk for his woman. You understand? Y'all understand? So that's just it. That's what he's going to do. Okay. He is taken up for his Betty Crocker. Okay. He sits high over the city, right? Over his crane, right? Some type of pterodactyl or something. I don't know what the fuck he is. But looking over, right? With his cellular device. Okay. Ready to take a call at any moment, even at 6:03 in the morning, right? At the end of February. He is ready at all times, right? Edgar, your face is on sideways. I digress. Ben, Mr. Narcana Chris. Yeah. Narca Chris. He is he's otherworldly narcissist. You're right. You're right. Thank you so much, Ben George and Serenity. Literally everything is odd and off. Yes. Sugarwater. Narcissist. How does Chris know Sebastian ate his whole meal if he wasn't there? Maybe Katie, maybe they have dinner together over Skype, right? I mean, he had they had breakfast with, this is the way it is in their house, right? They brag about the pancakes, right? That's breakfast. Then we go to lunch when Chris pulls his lunch bucket out up there in the crane, because you got to have lunch up there and you also have to use the bathroom. You don't shit where you eat. Just I'm telling you. I digress. Just saying. Just saying. Some do. You know what I mean? Some do. But just saying. So she talks to him during what? Lunch. And then dinner. They have Skype, video messenger over Roadhouse. It's Steakhouse, Texas Steakhouse, Roadhouse, whatever the hell it is. And then, at night, they finish it up with a 2 to 3 hour conversation up until midnight. Just like it's New Year's Eve every single night.
Walked out of the house, door was locked and gone.
Did you hear how Chris referred to Sebastian as the young man? He also said the young man doesn't go outside.
I believe those are pointers for him. We have a mom. It's very bizarre and it's very impersonal. It's almost as if these are points. Because like if I'm trying to remember something, right? If you're trying to remember, I mean, we all do things differently to remember stuff, but I would be like, I would do it in steps, right? Mom went to find son, right? Like, mom went to wake up son. Son wasn't there, right? Mom called, stepdad. Stepdad called this. And it's like he's saying that, but he's not converting what he's supposed to say in his head. Like, Katie called, right? Katie went to get up Sebastian, not mom went to get up her son. It's it's bizarre. It's so bizarre. Okay. 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 Ben George, thank you so very much, my dear. Appreciate that. Does anyone know if law enforcement has looked at Seth's, CP, and KP's phone records to see what towers they pinged off, if it could confirm their alibis? I am sure they have done that. I am sure that. Okay, let's just say this. Let's just say this. We know where Seth was when he was working. He has the best type of alibi you can have, right? In jail. In jail. The man was literally in jail. More cameras, more prisoners, more other cops next to you, everything, right? Now, they haven't cleared him yet. Now, my personal theory on why they haven't cleared him yet is because, in my opinion, Christopher and Betty Crocker would be like, it might give him a little bit of pause. It might, kind of a little bit scared, if you will. That's my opinion. They could easily by now clear people, right? Could easily. They could clear Seth the first few days, I bet, right? They know, they absolutely know where Chris was. They absolutely do. 1000%. I think Chris would go berserk, probably. Yeah, they would be showing their hand. Exactly, hindsight. Yes, they would be showing their hand. Why haven't they, if, if, for instance, they could clear Seth, and if Chris was where he says he was and his alibi checks out and everything is crystal clear, people. No, no. Of course they know where Seth is, but they also 100% knew where, they absolutely know where Chris was, is or was, or where he was. They know. They 1000% know. I promise you they know. Promise you. They know where everyone was. Yes. They know. But what I'm saying is we knew, police know, absolutely know that Seth nothing to do with this. Nothing, 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 nothing. They know where Seth was. They know where Chris was. Now, I don't know exactly what police or authorities know, right? None of us do. However, let's say Chris was 1,000%, 1,000% sleeping on his, in the middle of his camper all night long. He got off the phone. He went straight to bed, right? And he woke up the next morning and he went to work. Nothing happened. Let's say nothing happened. They could absolutely clear Seth and Chris. Why haven't they done that? What do you mean, Lulu? Why haven't they done that? I mean, listen. If they don't know where, if they can't find out where Chris was, Seth was in 6 months, please hand it over to someone else. They know. Trust. They know. They know. They haven't cleared him. They haven't cleared him. Right? They have said there is nothing to, what's the word that they used? But nobody's been cleared. Right? Akira, thank you so very much, my lovely dear. Can someone please tell me what interview, if there is one where Katie specifically says the last time she actually saw Sebastian after he went to his room? It's driving me nuts. So Akira, she says in one of the interviews, God, that wasn't. In one of her interviews that Sebastian popped his head out the door and said, "Good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. Good night, Mr. Chris." I'm just kidding with the Mr. Chris thing. And that was Duchess or Smileys. One of the two. Thank you, my dear. I can email me. I can send it to you. Thank you, Tina, so much, my sweet teacup. Do you think law enforcement has an idea who the vehicle belongs to? The 3 a.m. episode. Very curious. I don't know what the other footage sees. But I do. Yes. Yeah. I do believe they do know. Yes. I do believe they do know. I really wonder. I know, like Bullhorn Betty says, it is the QX80. That is the first thing I said, and then everyone kind of ran with it because I had a QX80 at one point, and the way I looked at it one day, I was like, "Oh, it's made. It kind of reminds me of a QX80." And I know she did like an overlapping thing, which is I could pretty much do it with any vehicle out there. The very similar thing, just the way it lines up. But I am not convinced it is any of Chris, Katie's, or Bauer QX80 vehicle. Justin, there was no need for the district attorney to be in the room when Seth and Katie seen the vehicle videos. And that was very interesting. There was no need. But they probably, in my opinion, he probably wanted to see their reactions, in my opinion. I think he wanted to see KK's reactions. Maybe CP's reactions if he was there. There's other footage of that car or of that vehicle. I said car. I don't know if it's a car. I don't know if it's a truck. I don't know if it's an SUV. I don't know if it's a four-wheeler or a dirt bike. I don't know. But there is other footage of that vehicle. Just CP dumb statements like friends and family will line up in the street again. Yeah. Friends and family will line up in the street. What do you mean? You guys, like, the only time I feel like Sebastian could be a teenager, right, and not militant was when he was at Seth's. When he was at Seth's. Chris said, I didn't really put a time on his eating schedule. But everything else was dictated. It was it. It was dictated. And what did the kid do, the 15-year-old boy do when he went to his bedroom? Right? if he couldn't play video games, right? I mean, what did he do? Did he just sit there and play with fidgets? Right? Did he sit there with Legos or cars, or I mean, like, what the hell did he do? He came home, right? He did his chores. He took out, or he did his chores. He took a bath. Um, or he did his homework. He took a bath, and then he says something else. I really didn't have a time on his, on his, what time he could really eat. He really does, Heather. That's true. Tasha, thank you so very much, my dear. Welcome. Appreciate you, my dear. Welcome to the tea party. Really do appreciate you, my dear. His phone was on counter. Yeah, well, he wasn't allowed to take his phone to the bedroom. And she Katie said I used his Nintendo or something more as as more of like a treat for positive reinforcement. Well, I mean, I get that to an extent. I don't think kids should just sit and be on like video games all day or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But I mean, if he comes home, it's the weekend, and you know, you guys were all over town during the weekend, and he just wanted to come home and wind down an hour after he got home and took out the trash and took a shower. Let him play his video game an hour. So what? I mean, but they, like Brittany was saying, they allegedly would just tell him to go in his bedroom, lay on your bed, and just relax, even if he didn't want to sleep, and sit there with his fidgets and just lay and look at the ceiling, pretty much. If that allegedly is something that happened, that's so sad. Pennies and paper clips. Pennies and paper clips.
So now why would he walk out that door that night when in this interview, Chris says he doesn't go outside all that much? We've heard in other interviews that he was barefoot. He hates to go outside barefoot. He also is terrified of insects and he doesn't like to get dirty. Makes no sense that Sebastian would, on his own accord, walk out that door. I'll say it again and again and again. And the Proudfoots are basically telling us the same thing when they talk about his personality.
Take the phone. None of his shoes are missing. Now, you told me that night that, now, Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work, yes, so you were not even home. Correct, ma'am. And Mom, you fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m., and then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight. And nothing was unusual at that point. Everything seemed okay. There's actually a piece of, so to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9.
This was his first interview. That way there's transparency across the board. Listen, your first interview, nobody is saying anything. We're just trying to hear your story at that point. That way there's transparency across the board. Let me give you a specific time, so I'm going to look really good. 9:43 or 9:46. Crystal clear.
9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included. We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed. Now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight.
So there's no mention of a thud or any kind.
I mean, can you imagine Katie just laying there on the couch and, Chris is talking for 2 hours? It's like, hello, Caitlin. Katie Crocker, are you there? Katie Crocker to the office. Honey, get up and put the morkies away. Put the morkies away. Okay? Put the morkies away and go to sleep. Midnight. I mean, I would probably fall asleep too if I had to be with, sit there listening to Chris for 2 hours. Wouldn't you? Crime Critter, I personally don't think he was in camouflage or face paint or anything like that. I mean, anything is possible, but these cameras, it doesn't matter if you're in complete darkness. If, it looks like daylight. Katie's just like, half asleep. Probably same way when Chris is home, if you know what I mean.
Kind of noise at 10 p.m. during this interview. Also, Chris refers to Katie as the mom. Very detached, very distant, and conveniently, he makes it known that he was away at work. It's almost like he's gleeful because he was nowhere near.
Chris says also, when he's telling Sebastian to come home, your mom loves you, your family loves you, your dad loves you, I love you. Like, they're not part of the family.
Alleged crime scene. It is also very interesting that Katie does not mention being on the phone with Chris for like 3 hours. Only he later brings that into the narrative. It's like she forgot about that detail. How do you forget about a 3-hour phone call on the night that your son vanished? And Chris sets the timeline for the disappearance. He says it happened sometime between midnight and Katie went to bed and 6 a.m. when she woke up and went to get Sebastian and wake him up. And I know that a lot of you have said and questioned, how does Chris know when he wasn't even there? How can he be so sure of all these things? And if Sebastian went to bed at 9 and there was no noise and nothing happened, and she went to bed at midnight, how do they know that Sebastian disappeared somewhere between midnight and 6? That
You remember Chris saying in Smiley's interview, like, I think Smiley said, why do you always answer for her? And he's like, I don't. He said, you hear me talking about right up till bedtime, and then after bedtime, I don't talk about anything until the next morning when she calls me. And I'm like, okay, so you're not talking about 3 fucking minutes. Literally 3 minutes. Hours pass by, right? Well, I go to bed about midnight, Katie goes, okay. Well, the next thing we know is, okay, so the only thing that you didn't witness is Katie walking to her bedroom and laying down and sleeping, allegedly, until right before 6 a.m., which we know nothing about. Nothing. From midnight, when they go to bed, up until 6 a.m., there is nothing. And the next thing we know, at 6:03, Chris is back on the call. What did Tasha say? I'm trying to find Tasha. Where's Tasha? I am very curious if they still have Sebastian's room still. They said, or did they clear it out? Oh, I bet you they still have it. I mean, yeah, they probably still have it. I mean, but you see, here's a problem, and we're gonna do this one. We're gonna kind of get into this one day in this. So Katie says she goes to bed at midnight. Well, it appears in that video, right, at about 3 a.m., someone or someone's is walking, allegedly, perhaps, maybe, out of her house at 3 a.m. So that's 3 hours after, a little over 3 hours after she says she went to bed. And then 3 hours after, well, within 5 minutes of that car being there, about 5 or 6 minutes from the beginning of that car getting there until whatever they did, and one person runs back. And then 3 hours after that, what happens? Katie is up, ready to get Sebastian off for the day, she says. Akira, thank you, my dear. In my opinion, Chris was there that night. Otherwise, he would throw Katie Crocker under the bus and move on to wife number 6. Bauer would only protect CP. Yep, I agree. I think she would only, I think they would own, I mean, they were literally following JLR, Dolly, anyone who is looking with their own eyes around that area, right? Looking with their own eyes, trying to put out flyers. Listen, this isn't, right, the Bow Wow Foot's first daughter-in-law, right? This is not their first daughter-in-law, right? And it's probably not, I don't know if it's their last or not, but anyway, because Katie always says, you know, that she's Chris's last. So I don't know. But even it seemed like while Chris was married to Nina, they weren't obviously that nice to her, allegedly, in my opinion, and well, what she actually says. Someone was flashing the lights inside the house. Could it have been KP signaling CP? I don't think so, because I don't think you could see those lights from where the car was parked. Mm-mm. Can we call Chris Bubbles from now on? Bubbles like wasn't Bubbles like Michael Jackson's monkey? Isn't that right? Has Sebastian ever had therapy? I mean, his autism diagnosis was a few years ago. Actually, his autism diagnosis was less than, it wasn't even a year yet. Bubbles for Trailer Park Boys. Is that what you meant? Look up Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. Oh, Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. That must be a movie. Oh, Bubbles. Oh, God. Okay. Christopher. He's got the pop can glasses. Pop can glasses. There's Bubbles. They're right there. I thought you meant Michael Jackson's little monkey.
Why they say that Katie fell asleep on the sofa, because she would have been downstairs looking at that front door or near that front door, and therefore Sebastian could not have come out of his bedroom and walked out the front door until she went to bed at midnight. Because I'll tell you what, number one, I never have 3-hour conversations with my husband, like ever, whether it's during the day or at night. And if I were to have
When's the last time you've spoke to your husband for 3 hours? I bet you it was when you were dating. Right?
a 3-hour conversation late at night, I would do it from the comfort of my bed. Why is Katie on the couch and not in bed? Is that an important detail? Because they have to make it seem like Sebastian could not have walked out the front door until midnight. What prevented him from leaving, say, after 9 p.m. when he went to bed? They're saying they don't know what happened to him. So why have they ruled out that he left somewhere between 9 and 11 p.m. maybe?
So then mom go to bed and wakes up early in the morning to go wake her son up, get him ready for school. And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house. Mom made an effort to look and search several times.
Listen to how he says this. Listens to how he says this. I mean, has any of, okay, maybe a better question. Has any of you guys, ladies or gentlemen, it doesn't matter, have any of you talked to your husband 3 hours since being married? Point proven. Thank you. Thank you very
Maybe.
much.
So then mom go to bed and wakes up early in the morning to go wake her son up, get him ready for school. And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house. Mom
Okay,
made an effort to look
Sally
and search
J.
several times. Mom has called me at the time and asked me, she was like, I can't find him. I was like, do what? She goes, yeah, I cannot find him. I said, well, then hang on. I made the phone call and reported it to the sheriff's department because that's what we're supposed to do.
Oh, this is when it was
And within
being
10
told.
minutes, the sheriffs were dispatched to the location.
As Chris is telling the story, he pauses a lot.
What does it
It's
say?
like he has to try to recall what he's going to say next. That's not how things flow when somebody is telling the truth. It flows naturally. You don't have to hesitate. It's all there because the truth is the truth, and there's no need to think about it. And why?
I mean, Emily, I understand, when they're from two different continents, when you're lived in two different continents, I understand, that's when you like to speak to your husband, right? When they are from two different continents or they're incontinent. Either way, that's when they're fun to speak to, right?
Is he telling all this part of the story when he wasn't even there? Katie should be the one giving that account. I feel like this is Chris's story because Chris is the person who made it up. Allegedly, just my opinion, I'm speculating. And again, he's very detached. He's referring to Katie as the mom or mom. He refers to Sebastian as her son, not our son. This our son stuff is something that Chris has learned over the past 3 months from criticism. So he's adapting, in my opinion, allegedly.
And you had told me that there hadn't been any particular situation that had occurred where you felt like there would have been something that happened. And I also had asked you if there were any friends that Sebastian might have possibly left the house with, or if he had any contact with anyone on social media.
Yeah, mom can't find the boy or the son, but there's no difference in, he's saying there's no difference in like stepfather and all of this. Well, there is if you make it a difference, right? Some stepfathers and stepmothers are 1,000 times better than their real parent, right? But Mr. Christopher, not so sure.
Yeah. Do you want to comment about that again?
He doesn't have a social media.
Okay.
And the only friends that he had were a couple of kids in school.
Okay.
All the kids that have had any interaction with him have been interviewed and asked.
Okay.
We
Voice
as
change.
parents know how social media can be,
Right.
and seeing how kids can be easily manipulated.
He's very young in mind.
Yes, he may be.
Right.
He's about 15, and he's 15, and
He's very young in mind.
we as parents know how social media can be,
Right.
and seeing how kids can be easily manipulated.
He's very young in mind.
Yes.
He's 15. Of course, he's very young in mind. He's 15. But I think, in my opinion, they overplayed it in the beginning. In my opinion. Does he wear an Apple Watch? God, no. I mean, it was, there you had to get, if you wasn't with Seth, you had to get like, a Peace Award or something to play on the Nintendo there.
He may be, he's about 15, and he's
as a
15 in
reward.
age in his body, but his mind is not caught up to his body. But that is something that goes through with autistic children, as everybody would know.
Right.
But for the record, I am a very strict parent. He does not have social media, not in our household. He doesn't online game. I'm pretty strict. when it comes to that kind of situation.
Well, that's good. That's good, Chris, that you
I have
have
not seen that.
control of that, because social media can be very dangerous for young kids, because they don't realize who they may be talking to on social media. So it's always good to have that awareness and to make sure you're monitoring, what your kids are doing. So I had asked you both,
Absolutely.
did you have any idea what would
Oh, gotcha. No, I'm saying CP because that would have tracked him and may not have thought to take it off. And yeah. I mean, CP, he plays with those, whatever, Morkies. And you know how vicious they are, the Morkies breed. They're the type that makes your insurance go up.
Sebastian want to suddenly leave the house? And you told me, well, that's the $1 million question that everybody wants to know. All the detectives, they've all asked that same question. What is it that happened that caused him to leave the house? And I know you must be so worried and so concerned. Is there anything, if Sebastian were listening to this live stream right now, if you knew that
He would have to have a motive to leave the house, right? Nothing was wrong according to them, right? Nothing was wrong. They said they hadn't been fighting. They could understand if they would have been arguing, but they've had a good couple weeks. They had a great weekend. He was in excellent spirits when leaving, according to Melissa. So everything seemed good. But something quickly changed. In my opinion, between 7 and 10 or 11. Taylor, it's funny. I'm extra sassy tonight. CP is way too vain to be a stepdad. I think he's just way too vain, stuck on himself, which would be vain. Douche would be
he was
a good
out
word.
there, what would you want to tell him? That we love you and to come home.
I mean, it's pretty simple. This boy has a very large family that everybody is asking the question, where are you? We love you, and please come home.
You notice how Duchess has to be the one to say, I'm
Yes.
sure you're very worried. Katie and Chris don't say that. They don't say, we don't know where he is. We don't.
Right. A good point. They're not saying, they're not offering that. We're upset, right? They're not taking the initiative. We are upset. He is not home. We love you. Come home, right? If anyone has you, anything, nothing. I know. Especially whenever he is the actor on the Mucinex commercial. Gives you lots of acid reflux.
Know if he's safe. We don't know if he has anything to eat. We don't know if he's afraid. Duchess also has to prompt Katie and Chris to address Sebastian. just in case he's out there somewhere listening. We've heard from experts that parents with missing children don't need to be prompted to do this. This
Yes.
is something that's automatic. It comes out of them the
Natural.
minute they're in front of the media. So Duchess has enough sense to prompt them to do these things because she's probably seen parents of missing children before, and she knows what they typically say when they're handed a microphone. We also hear them saying that although Sebastian is 15 in age and body, mentally he's much younger. That has been a consistent message from all the parents, from Seth Rogers, the biological father,
Yes.
and Katie and Chris Proudfoot.
We definitely
I remember
need
that,
to
Erica.
find him as soon as possible. If you live in this area, please search your property every day. He could be on the move. Just because you've already searched your property one time doesn't mean that you don't need to continue to search your property on a daily
Soldier
basis,
girl.
just to be sure. If you have a lot of land, it needs to be searched, you know, just to be sure, because he may be lost. He may be somewhere and he can't find his way back. So that's why it's very critical.
This was the first
Can you
interview.
talk to me about the search and rescue
7
efforts?
days
Are
after
they
Sebastian went
searching on
missing.
land, air? They also have dive teams there. What can you tell us about that?
So currently, they, as of today, the National Guard was also brought in to help with
I think
the
something
search.
happened between 7 and
But
10.
they have had fixed wing aircraft, helicopters, horseback ATVs, side by side, door to door, scouring every neighborhood possible.
You're welcome.
I mean, the outreach from the community and various counties has been extremely welcoming, loved.
Hello, Faye.
I mean, it's, we've been told this is probably one of the largest searches that they've conducted with so much input that it's a case to be studied for sure.
To me, Chris saying that this is a case to be studied, it's almost like he's proud of it. Maybe.
Absolutely. At day 7, right? Actually, at less than 72 hours, he is saying that he is not going to have court with Nina because there's not going to be any effing court. I guess he wasn't expecting Sebastian to come home. Yes, the first interview, he said this is a case to be studied for years to come. Exactly. Who says case? It's their stepchild missing. Very good point, Drew. Very good point. You don't think as your missing child as a case, right? You think of him as walking off, right? He just walked off, according to Betty Crocker. He is a proud Mary, putting that stank foot in his mouth. Little does she know. Kind of switched it around.
He is the mastermind of the perfect crime. Allegedly, in my opinion, I'm just saying it's a weird thing to say 7 days out. And obviously, Chris is not too emotionally worked up over Sebastian's disappearance. There is no hint of emotion. There are no tears flowing from him. Again, he is very detached when he's talking about Sebastian and also when he's talking about Katie and her son.
A lot of people that are praying and supporting you right now. Was his ask, would he be able to ride a city bus?
Nothing is off the table as far as abilities. The young
Nicole, I don't believe Sebastian was walked out. Well, if he walked out that night, he would have had a scent. Number one. So I don't think it was him. Now, I also there is a question that I would like to look at Chris and Katie in person. You know, I asked them before, I said I will drive to Hendersonville, Nashville. I'll take a flight if you want me to, and to do an interview in person with you. And there's one specific question I want to ask them. And I think this one question, by their response and their behavior, would tell me all I needed to know. I can't tell you that question because I've never said the question out loud to anyone. But there is a question that I would love to yes, Misty. I wouldn't want them to be prepared to hear it. I wouldn't want a premeditated, response. He came to the driveway. Also, the school bus he took. Oh yeah, that school bus came to the driveway. But I believe, hey Trishy, I believe. Yes, Mitch. Yeah, and it's one. It's. I mean, it's not. It's a question and it's also a statement, I guess you could say, at the same time.
Man, get on a bus? I'm sure he could. We've never done it before. We've never rode a city bus, so I don't think he understands the process. He doesn't have any sense
Hello,
of
Red.
money. He may have, like, let's say, a $20 bill in his hand, but he doesn't truly understand what $20 would get him.
He's good.
Right.
But he doesn't
I understand.
Time and money.
And see,
Did you hear Katie try to pipe in that he's good at math? Sebastian is good at math, but he doesn't understand time and money.
and single mom says, does he want his real father? Maybe. I'm just asking. Well, it turns out, single mom, that, he sees his real father every other weekend. And the real father, he is heavily involved in this situation and is aware, and he doesn't know where Sebastian is either, correct?
Correct. I mean, I can tell you this.
His father's very much involved in his life.
Yes, very much involved in his life. The relationship between all three of us as parents is not your common one. I mean,
He makes it sound like it was hunky dory, didn't he? There was, what was I gonna say? Oh, whenever I think Seth gave Sebastian some cash. And after he would get home back to the Powerfoots, they would allegedly go through all of his belongings and allegedly called Seth to see if Sebastian had stole the money. Right? If he didn't know, the value of money in any way, shape, or form, then why are you asking him if he stole it? Because if you don't know money is valuable, right, then they're not going to take it, which Sebastian never did steal it. Seth gave it to him. He absolutely lived in a boot camp. Constantly, Vic. Constantly. They make excuses as if he's not normal to justify their narrative. He is a runaway. Oh, exactly. Exactly. He's very young in mind, right? It's constant belittling.
And the father talk on a regular basis. We call each other. We talk. Hey, if we heard anything, how's he doing? Is he acting up?
How's he doing? Is he acting up? Why does it always got to be? How about how's he doing? Did he enjoy school today? Right? How about that? Does he need anything?
I mean, it's not. There's no really animosity in between the parents.
That
When you say there's no animosity, now I think there's animosity.
That's a lie. We know there is animosity between Seth Rogers and Katie Proudfoot and Chris Proudfoot. Katie is very angry with Seth, and she has been for a long time. It's not just since Sebastian went missing. We know from the divorce papers that there's a lot of animosity and a lot of accusations. And Chris depicting their relationship as the three parents being so unusual and not common, implying that it's such a great relationship. Well, that's just not true, because Seth Rogers has said he was
Right,
unaware
Robin.
of the CPS reports that were made
Right.
on the Proudfoot home. So there was a lack of honesty between these three people. Seth only found out about those reports after Sebastian went missing. So Chris is not portraying the relationship in an authentic and honest manner. He's sugarcoating it. Why is he doing that? Why does he have a need to make the relationship between the two?
You know what's amazing to me? Even though Nina doesn't have a good relationship with Chris, right? Chris still was able to pick up the phone and Nina answered the phone. Why? Because they share a child together, right? They share a child together. And whenever Sebastian, or we'll say it like this, whenever Chris was on his 17-hour spree of allegedly going and getting his camper, that's when he called Nina. Nina still answered. And they have attorneys, right? Battling since their daughter, Chris, has been fighting her since she was an infant, right? But Katie can't, won't, or perhaps isn't allowed to speak with Seth, the father of a child that they share that are missing. Now, to me, that says a lot. Why doesn't he want Katie? And why is Katie not buckling down and saying, listen, we have a kid together. It's nothing personal. Nothing's going on. But we need to talk about the best interest of finding our son. She won't do it. Why? That speaks volumes to me. Chris has no probably tearing a child from a mother. Yeah. You're right, Mohawk. You're absolutely right. Butterflies are free to fly. That is such a beautiful name. I love that. Thank you so much for your support. I love your name though. Butterflies are free to fly. Isn't that beautiful, y'all? It's so sad how they believed him in every turn Sebastian made or did. He probably couldn't wait to go to school. I think he felt freedom at school, and I think he felt freedom at Seth's. Right? But it is my opinion, sedation and experience that the military couple will. Hey, Philippe, did Seth say at their house for the first 3 days? He was there during the daytime. He didn't actually spend the night. Why didn't he take the chance and ask KP questions with CP was gone to get the fifth wheel? Okay. Interestingly, on the third day, that is when, boy, this is starting to make a little more sense now. On the third day, that is when Chris was there and there was a argument. Chris got in a mood, an attitude, allegedly, right before he left. That's when there was a blow up. Katie didn't call Seth. Or was that? Right before. Isn't that interesting, y'all? I need to find out a little bit more, maybe about that. No, the camper wasn't there on. let's see here. Let me look at the calendar. It was the 26th. This was February. This was February 28th. This was still February 28th. His attitude. Hold up, guys. Hold on. When did Chris pull a camper in that driveway? You're sure, Mohawk? Now, the what I'm questioning, Mohawk. What I'm questioning is he said he went to go get his motorhome. Did he bring that motorhome straight home? Or did he park that motorhome somewhere else? Yes, Faye. I believe that now. Yeah. I don't know where. Was it in the driveway with the van in? Was it in the driveway with the van in front of it? I've got a photo of that motorhome with the van. Oh, crap. Yes, Carmelita. My mods are amazing. Let me look at something here. I've got photos of. Makes me do some thinking. Hold on 1 second. Just trying to see the date on these. Huh. Bear with me. Bear with me. 1 second. Something is up here. Trying to find that day. where I'm trying to find the. Do I got any? Today, 1:38 p.m. I can't remember. She's back. That's when she was back there. There's a lot. I have so many photos, y'all. It's so much stuff. It's incredible. I'm going to have to see when that the date on it. When it was there. See, look, like this was the day. I think the day after Justin Everly. What is the date? What's the date, Karen? What do you think the date is? What do you think? You're right, Ben George, about the Denny's thing there. Yes. You are right, my. Hello, Lisa. I love Denny's. Can you zoom in on the house by the garage? Yes. Oh, crap, maybe. But this is when there is no camper. But Christopher, is it just me or is his tailgate open? Y'all, hold on. Let me take this banner down. Is his tailgate open? Yeah, the motorcycle trailer is beside the house. And she said it was right with. I am pretty sure that mother chicken is open. Crap. Is that open? I just zoomed in. It does have a cover on the bed. I'm not asking. I know it has a cover. It is flush with the cover. Okay, what is this then? What is this square thing? Is the bed, is that thing, something is different. No, his bumper is not. I know he has a cover on it. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see here. Let me show you. His bumper is silver. That cannot be his bumper. Okay. Cool cats and kittens. It's open. I zoomed in. That's the tailgate open. I'm telling you, the tailgate is open. I know the top is black. Which silver is on the same. I don't give a wooden nickel what y'all say on this one because this is open. I'm telling you. This is open. It's open. Hold on. Maybe the top is open. I think this thing goes up. Christopher. He could have replaced the bumper. I haven't seen the top on his truck since he left. Or since the actually I don't hold on. Here's his cranes that he sits in. Why is that there? Why is that shadow there? I don't even know where I got that. Okay, sorry. 1 second. I don't know if he has a top on this. There's shoes airing out there, and this was I would like to know, one thing I would like to know is if is did he get any new pairs of shoes, or did he start wearing another pair of shoes right after this happened? Justin, you will see the fifth wheel hitch in the back of the truck bed for his RV. Yes. Yes. Yep. Look how that light is. Look at that light. This is Katie's light. This is the QX Bowerfoot's light. Remember that. I don't know. Something is wrong. What was that? I don't know, guys. Lisa Thompson, where have you been? Lisa, where have you been? Thank you, Miss Lisa Thompson. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Heard not the same. Different on Chrome Windows, slight variations. Yeah, they're one's a mid-size SUV, one's a full-size SUV. Thought you was already a member. Good to see you, dear. All right, guys, I'm going to bed. What a day. I've got to really go straight to bed, because if I don't, I thought Chris had a diesel. He's a diesel man. Of course he is. He's a diesel man. Lisa, I have been live. Okay, let's see here. I've spent almost 5.5 hours with you guys today. Big trucks, little. Yep, we'll do it again tomorrow. Well, I don't know if we'll be late. I don't know if it'll be late tomorrow. I don't know. I've kind of got to leave just as you're ending. Just my luck. Oh, Marlene, I'm sorry. You've been at the ER since 7. Oh, I'm sorry. Is Bob okay? Is Bob okay, Lisa? Compare the trucks. I think they are different. Good night, Benjamin. Sugar Daddy. Ben is a sugar daddy. Oh. And you know what? Good night, sugar daddy. They look different to you. Well, one is that even the same pickup? Now you guys got me guessing myself. Hell, I don't know. Wait a second. Yeah, it's the same pickup truck. It is. It's just that it's gray. It's actually not gray. It's called silver, or it's called blue something metallic. And it's also February. It's gray there. It's wet. And the other one looks like a 4-door. Well, Hold on. How did I get on this? Nick Barris holding a chicken. I was going to say another word. Sorry. Going to say Nick holding a chicken. Nick reminds me of someone who is like probably comes from somewhere fairly urban, got a nice job in the South, lives the farm life now, smokes a ton of herbals, and yeah. Yeah, cock-a-doodle doo. I was gonna say, look, there's Nick holding a cock-a-doodle doo. Ganja. Kanji. Let's see here.
Being out front here. It's good. It's okay, Adele. Yeah. Just sweetie. Just kind of relaxes me. Ready to go
Choking
to
the
bed.
chicken.
Good night, Adele. So some people sit on the front porch with their dog at dusk and relax.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Soldier
sitting here
Girl.
with
He's
Adele.
definitely a
And
smoker.
she's actually quite tame. She's just not sure about being out front here. It's good. It's okay, Adele.
I miss my
Yeah.
chickens.
Just sweetie. Just kind of relaxes me. Ready to go to bed. Good night, Adele. So some people sit on the front porch with their dog at dusk and relax. I'm sitting here with Adele, and she's actually quite tame.
Oh, that's Adele. Who needs melatonin or CBD gummies to fall asleep? I have Adele. Or golden buff Orpingtons are a very good chicken to have. Yeah, I know I'm naughty when I'm tired. Yeah, I want to go get some chickens, y'all. Oh, nothing wrong, Sally. You do your thing, girl. Go ahead, girl. Do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. I think Nick and Chris do a lot of talking. I don't think so. I would probably bet not. Yeah. I like I prefer Silkies and Showgirls. Oh, he rescues dogs and chickens. That's so sweet. Okay, I can see him being from Oregon. I love Oregon, by the way. The Oregonians are very, very nice people. Very lovely people. You were talking about Silkies. There is a breeder where I am who dyes them. Oh, really? The Indiana State Fair is underway and they have a mullet contest. Where's Billy Ray Cyrus when you need him? Don't tell my heart, my achy breaking heart. All right. Good night, guys. God bless each and every single one of you. Love you all. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Fancy chickens are cool. Well, Silkies, they are literally like a pet. I mean, they're not mean at all. Like, it's just like a little puff, a little powder puff. I don't know. It's just like your little makeup puff, but it's a chicken. And it has eggs. Good night, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.